So the hand this time is during the MPF team game. It's quite a big tournament, quite a slow structure, and I'm on quite a weak table actually. You know, I'm quite liking the table dynamics. The only strong player on the table, in my opinion, is Andy Blair, King Queen Forever. He's on my right.
7 a.m. waking up.
So the player's on Andy, and he folds. Now, like I said, it's a weak table, and he's the strongest player at the table, and he's just folded. So the rest of the table must be much less weak. So I raise blind.
You're a hero. Fuck you.
And I'm right, because most of the table folds. But the two blinds both look me up. The flop comes down, Queen 4-3, 2 diamonds.
I want an Oompa Loompa now! Can it, you nit!
The guy in the small blind, he just looks like he's got a flush draw. You know, you just look at someone and you're like, you look like a flush draw kind of guy. And he bets his flush draw. He bets it. I mean,
Come on, throw in a buck.
I don't tip.
You don't tip?
No, I don't believe in it.
and the big blind also calls. And I think it's about time to look at my hand. I look down and I've got 4-5 off. So I've hit middle pair. It's a pretty strong hand. And I'm like, there's no point raising until they fold. I'll string them along a little bit, so I call.
Even poo-poo comes out. The other poo-poo's out, huh? And then they eat the poo-poo.
The turn now brings a 10, an offsuit 10. It's offsuit. And the small blind checks. The big blind, he's bald by the way, he checks. And I think, I'm not fucking about anymore here, you know, there's a 10 on the board now, things are hotting up. So I put in all of my chips.
Ooh, baby monkey.
Small blind looks down at his cards again, he thinks, you know, I'm not getting the right ultimate flush draw, so he folds. And the big blind tanks, and I mean a proper tank, a proper bald tank. Was Thomas the Tank bald? Anyway, he tanks and tanks and tanks and calls. So I got 4-5 and I show my cards. I'm quite confident in my head at this point. And he shows his cards one at a time, which is pretty standard for good players to do. I usually use the USB cable which connects the camera to the laptop as a method of holding the screen up because my hinges are broken on my laptop. And the first card he shows is a 9. And I'm beating a 9, you know? You know what I'm using now? That's right. The iron. No 9s on the board, so my pair of 4s is still the strongest hand at this point. In fact, if that was the only card, then I'd be favourite to win the hand. Unfortunately, he also had a 4 with it as well, so he had a pair of 4s as well, but he's got a 9. He said he king, any queen, any jack, any 10, any 3 will split the pot. So I'm about 90%, I think, to split it.
What we do is, if we need that extra push over the cliff, you know what we do?
Put it up to 11.
11, exactly.
And, you know, I get up, I say great hand, everyone's saying great hand, everyone's banging the table, you know, because it is a great call for him to put me on such a narrow range after I just overbet the pot with 9-4, because he obviously put me on just a 4 with a low kicker, and that's why he was tanking, you know, because he was really running through what my range was in his head, and I think it's a really great call. So, but I took a bit of a bad beat because then 8 came on the river, and I was like, fuck. I think, and people were saying unlucky to me, but it wasn't unlucky because when there's two really good players who go head to head against each other, that's the type of outcome it comes. It creates fireworks, creates a spark. And that's what draws people to these events, I guess. Good game. Morgan spiced, Coke, ice, no lime. I'm not a lime. Well, I am a lime man. I don't have any lime. I've had lime. It being here. 4 tabling. Texas Hold'em 10 no limit. Pretty fucking baller. You have no idea how good my life is. You know, the other night I got a takeaway pizza, vegetarian supreme, and I thought, how can I eat this pizza to make stuffed crust. How can I make this pizza even better? And I thought, get the bath running. So I got in the bath and started munching my pizza.